Hey there guys, the PC guy here, and E3 just started, and just like Computex was for all the PC tech stuff, so is E3 for gaming, so there's a lot of gaming news, as well as a little few more tidbits from AMD regarding Zen 2, and more specifically, the Navi GPUs that we have been waiting for. These are just the most known names that I'll be covering. Obviously, there's a whole lot more, but then I'd be having a 3 hour long video and you guys probably wouldn't watch it anyway. As far as gaming goes, there's a lot of things to be exciting about for the next year already, and we're not even through this year yet. For starters, Final Fantasy VII is getting a remake. It is looking pretty good. They not only are making it look a bit more up to date, as you can see, but they also are changing the combat system to be more real-time combat style, like the newer Final Fantasy series, as opposed to the turn-based combat from the classic Final Fantasy VII. This is probably something I would like to try, considering that Final Fantasy VII was one of my first serious games, let's say, other if you don't count, for example, Pac-Man and Prince of Persia on the old PC. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on. It has an expected release date of March 3rd of next year, 2020. Well, we're talking about relaunchers. Another game that's going to be launched on a different platform is The Witcher. Witcher 3 is going to be available on the Switch also in the short near future in 2019 still, although we do not have a concrete date as of now. As far as new games go, a few of them deserve a special mention. One of them is Doom Eternal. Doom is a classic. I'm pretty sure anyone that plays any sort of video games have heard of or played some Doom games. Now, Doom Eternal is the latest of the series. It is already supposed to be launching also in this next year, and they have given us a few previews of the gameplay as well as usual, a little cinematic trailer, as well as a new game mode that lets you play 2v1 with two people playing as demons and one people playing as the Doom guy, and basically wailing on each other until one of the side is dead. They have also already opened for pre-orders, and the pre-order collector's edition will come with, among other things, a wearable Doom guy helmet with sound. So have fun with that. Doom Eternal is also going to be out still this year on November 22, so near the end of the year. Another long-awaited game that has just hit pre-order stage is Cyberpunk 2077. It is scheduled to be released on April 16, 2020, so we still have nearly a year to go. The pre-orders have also opened. There is also the collector's edition that is up for pre-order with all the goodies you usually can expect from such collector's edition, and we've had a few cinematic trailers, including one that is probably the internet's favorite with Keanu Reeves, which is actually going to be modeling one of the main characters in the game. So that was an unexpected twist for everyone watching.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Another classic that is getting a new installment very soon, and very soon I mean at the start of 2020, is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. This case, Bloodlines 2. It has been a classic for several years. We haven't had a game of this series in quite a long time, and we have been given another extended gameplay trailer, so that's something to think about. And again, it is also in pre-order stage already. It has been, for a while, but just a reminder, it is in pre-order stage. As usual, as far as pre-orders go, I usually advise not to pre-order stuff unless it's things that, like say, a collector's edition that you really don't want to miss out and is kind of in danger of being sold out and then you cannot get it anymore, then it's a different story. But I usually advise to wait for pre-orders to see if the game is actually any good. And the same goes for parts like, let's say, the Ryzen 3000s and the Navis and all that sort of stuff. I definitely advise to wait for reviews and a little bit more information on the topic. Now, one that I really did not see coming is Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a game that is being developed by From Software, so from the makers of all our favorite Soul games and all Sekiro and all that sort of stuff, and being directed also by George R. R. Martin, our favorite writer from Game of Thrones. So kind of exciting to see how that's going to turn out. There's only a 2-minute trailer so far, which all you are looking at right now, at parts of it at least, and it states that it will be open world with unique and horrifying bosses to fight. So knowing how Game of Thrones went, that's going to be something. We'll have to wait and see.
It burns.
So far, there is no release date announced yet, but we do know that it will be available for the Xbox One, PS4, and also for the PC. So we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed that it won't be cancelled or anything else, and we'll just keep our eyes out for more news on this game. I'll get started with the AMD stuff of what we already knew about the Zen 2 processors, Ryzen 3000 series, and all that sort of stuff. I have a few videos on that already. If you guys want to check it, I'll put a card up so you guys can find them more easily. In terms of what we actually heard of new information, there's going to be a Ryzen 3 3200G and 3400G that are going to be on the lower end. They're not going to be 7 nanometers, and they are going to be, well, extra cheap, as you might imagine. They're going to start at 99 and 149 MSRP, so that's pretty accessible for lower end hardware as far as processors goes. On the higher end of the spectrum, the part that we are kind of expecting to be the flagship was announced, and it's going to be available still this year, but a little later in September. The 3950X is going to be having 16 core 32 threads. It's definitely the flagship, and it's going to be costing about 750 MSRP. So it's definitely the top of the line as far as the normal Zen 2 line goes. There's still Threadripper to be announced, which is expected to be even more cores, more threads, and naturally more price. So if you are a bit on the more professional market, that's what you have to look forward to when it is finally announced. As far as the processors go, the rest was mostly a comparison between the processors from AMD and the Intel flagships 9900K and 9700K. It was a side-by-side comparison for the 3900X and the 9900K and the 3800X and the 9700K. The comparison that we were shown showed them pretty even with each other as far as gaming goes, which is kind of to be expected because the AMD processors do have a lower clock as far as per clock speed goes, but as soon as it becomes a matter of multi-threaded applications and multitasking, then the AMD takes the cake with relative ease. There was a demonstration of streaming while gaming, for example, and while the 9900K was really struggling with that, the 3900X was going through it like it was nothing. So definitely considering it is a single threaded pretty much at eye and multi-threaded applications, the AMD wins by far, and it's also cheaper. Let's admit it, it's a lot cheaper, a lot more recent, and it does not suffer from all the vulnerabilities that we do know that Intel has. It's pretty much a win for AMD on this, and I don't think Intel is going to have anything much to answer with for the next few years. As far as Navi goes, though, it's a different story. The GPUs that we were shown were not really flagship level GPUs. They are intended to compete with the RTX 2060 and 2070. They beat those GPUs by a margin of 10 to 15%, but they are also not supposed to be the highest end that AMD has to offer. Sometime next year, we'll be having the Navi 20 family as opposed to this current Navi 10, which we're being shown, which are being named the 5700 and the 5700 XT. The 5700 XT will be starting at 450 and the 5700 at 379. So they are competitive price-wise with NVIDIA's offerings, although we still have to kind of see what NVIDIA is going to do with the whole GeForce Super initiative that they're going to do and how that will affect the pricing of their own products. as well as see what Nvidia will do next year with the Navi 20, obviously. These have been the highlights of E3 so far. Like you can see, there is plenty of stuff that we already were kind of expecting. Like everyone's been waiting for Cyberpunk for quite a while. Other stuff came out of the blue, like this J.R. Martin directed game, which it is something I was not really expecting. The Zen 2 news we were also already expecting. I was kind of thinking that maybe the CPU, the flagship CPU, the 3950X, would come maybe next year or something like that, when they would perhaps need to placate Intel on something, but that might be reserved for the Threadrippers perhaps. We'll have to wait and see. In any case, it is here. The Navi, it is pretty much what we were expecting. We all kind of were hoping for a 2080 Ti killer, but the all information we've been hearing for a while now is that at first it would be only Navi 10, which would be the mid-range, and that's what we got. We got 2060, 2070 levels of performance, slightly better. So that's what everything pointed to, and everything also pointed to Navi 20 being next year, which is also kind of what we heard. So there's not a whole lot of room to be disappointed because that's what we kind of already thought. And in any case, the CPUs really do make up for whatever expectations we had in the GPU department. So we'll just have to wait in the GPU department until next year and see how it goes, and if they actually do have a fighting chance at being a top dog also on that department and not just on processors. Now, there's probably going to be more news from E3. If there's anything very relevant, I'll do another little news episode. Otherwise, I'll just continue with my normal release schedule, and I'll touch up on the most important points on Saturday when I usually do the news of the week. So this has been Ethic PC Guy. Like and leave us a comment. Let us know what you are most excited about of the stuff on E3, and I'll see you guys next video.